Brandon, where the heck are you? We gotta film this episode, dude. Huh. So this is what it's like being in the opening shot. I feel so empowered.
Sorry, my friend, but only one of us can have this power. And who am I?
I'm Brandon Dale, and welcome to Blue Controllers.
Well, obviously, this time on No Controllers, we're going to be talking about superhero games. And the first one up, my namesake, Batman games. Early Batman games didn't really gain much popularity. Most of them were based on the cartoon series, but they never really were met with really good critical reviews. Batman games never really started gaining power until Rocksteady and Warner Brothers released Batman Arkham Asylum. The story revolves around Batman taking Joker back to Arkham Asylum. When he is met with a prison riot that keeps him on the island, he must fight his way through several of his arch rivals to finally meet with Joker in the final battle. This game was met with such good reviews that it was even given a sequel, Batman Arkham City, which in my opinion is way better. And hopefully, a threequel? The next hero we're going to talk about is the web-slinging, wisecracking photographer, SpiderMan. The very first SpiderMan game that came out for the PS1 and Nintendo 64 was just a normal 64-bit game. You were able to swing around New York City, stop villains, but you were never allowed to touch the ground, because it was like some kind of bug repellent. The game was so praised that it was issued a sequel, Spider-Man 2, Enter Electro, which basically followed a lot of the same mechanics. Now after these two games, the Spider-Man games kind of took a drop off. They kind of messed around with cartoon video games until the movies hit the scene, which have given us some of the best superhero video games ever. My favorite was Spider-Man 2. In Spider-Man 2, you were able to free roam around New York City, help citizens, and complete quests to help move along the storyline. Although it's not very true to the movie, but it makes for an awesome gameplay experience. The villains that you fight against in these games are classic fan favorites, such as Rhino, Scorpion, Mysterio, Shocker, and Dr. Octopus. Well, that about does it for my segment. Now I'm going to pass it over to Super Dylan for his super analysis over retro video games. See you in the third act.
For retro, we're gonna soar into some classic games of classic heroes. Up and away! First up is Superman for the NES. In this game, you take on the role of Superman on a quest to save Metropolis from the evil Lex Luthor and the criminals exiled from Krypton. Starting out the game as your alias, Clark Kent, you can change into Superman in various phone booths when you have the appropriate amount of power. You must defeat the bosses to clear each city level and will receive an animated Daily Planet newspaper praising your success. Another Superman game is Superman 64. Enough said. Another retro superhero game would be the Silver Surfer. In this game, you take on the role of Silver Surfer and must defeat various villains from the comics to keep the cosmic device out of the wrong hands. With projectiles at your disposal, you must fight your way through the numerous enemies to face the mini-boss and then the final boss, like any other traditional video game. Another game for superheroes is Captain America and the Avengers. In this brawl fest, you must defeat Red Skull, who has gathered an army of supervillains to take over the world. What? Were you expecting something? Oh, come on, we have overdone it. It's overstayed its welcome. No, I'm not doing it. We're not doing it. Of course we're not doing it. Why would you think we're doing it?
Of course!
It was me.
In the style of an arcade 2D brawler, You must traverse the level, dealing with the onslaught of enemies who will not stop until you drop. Players will be restricted from moving forward until the appropriate amount of enemies have been dealt with, all while making your way to defeat Red Skull himself. Well, that's all we have for this heroic moment of retro games. Now we must return to modern for... Listener senses are tingling.
2 games I'm going to talk about now are pretty recent and kind of shake up the whole dynamic of the superhero games. First being that they're not actually any kind of superheroes from comic books. Of course, I'm talking about Infamous and Prototype. In these games, you play as a protagonist who is gifted with special powers and are let loose in the cities to fight off evil. In Infamous, you are given kind of electrical powers, and you're able to add on to these throughout the game. In Prototype, you get like this weird virus arm razor thing, and you must fight around the city to stop the infection from spreading. These games also issue a very unique dynamic of allowing you to either play as a hero or a villain. These games were met with some very positive reviews and even given sequels. Now whether they're threequels, I don't know, but we can't wait to see what's in store for these games.
Well, we thank you for watching this action-packed episode of Dual Controllers.
We hope you can join us next episode. But now, it is time me and Brandon go fight crime.
Aww, he can fly? That's not fair!